travelers returning to Canada, with the exception of essential workers, will be subject to a mandatory 14-day isolation under the Quarantine Act.
3 years in jail and a $1 million fine. That's the potential penalty for anyone breaking new mandatory quarantine rules for anyone returning to Canada as of midnight Wednesday. Officers will collect travelers' contact information, then randomly check in with them to make sure they're at home.
This new measure will provide the clarity for those re-entering the country about the essential need to self-isolate.
The health minister made the announcement in the Senate Wednesday, backed up by Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, who says mandatory isolation is needed to flatten the curve of the growth of the novel coronavirus in Canada.
I do want to emphasize essential workers are excluded, as has been the case with the strong advice from the Prime Minister, from public health officials for some days.
Individuals who exhibit symptoms upon arrival in Canada are forbidden also from using public transit to travel to their places of self-isolation. They will also be forbidden to self-isolate in a place where they will be in contact with vulnerable people.
Fines and arrests for breaking quarantine aren't new. We're already seeing that at the local level. A 53-year-old Corner Brook woman was put in a holding cell and slapped with a charge which carries a maximum fine of $5,000 after ignoring orders to stay home after arriving from outside the province. And in Quebec City, a woman who recently tested positive for COVID-19 was arrested for leaving isolation. This latest move is another response to the fact international travel continues to be a significant factor in the spread of the virus. But Canada's border with the U.S., while closed to non-essential travel, is still open to trade and commerce, as well as travel for cross-border workers or students with visas. In Calgary, Jonathan Muma, City News.